ready!
Hello everybody, I'm Drewby and welcome to Final Fantasy XIII Randomizer Part 8. Before we get started, I want to say I'm sorry it's taking so long to upload these videos, but I wanted to get the randomizer done, and then also I'm working on XIII Stones for future videos, stuff like that. But other than that, let's get to it. Alright, so here we are on this ship here. We're actually going to be going from one ship to another, but walk up to this guy here. Talk to him, and then you'll be transported onto the other ship. This is where we gotta find Vanille and Fang, or Vanille and Saz. So this ship here, you can grind on the ship if you wanted to, like if you needed CP or whatever, and assuming that the enemies do drop good items, this would be the best place to normally grind. But it does get a little bit irritating to deal with. So here, you can switch up, you can do the retry method and switch around your paragons or whatever. But once you get onto the ship here, you're going to be forced into a fight and you're not going to have time to do your paragons. So normally I just stick with whatever they give me, which would be Restless Assault. And then I think Sentinel, I don't remember the name, but it's like Sentinel, Medic, and Commando, I believe it was. But I usually just stick with Restless Assault, and then if the character's health do drop a little bit, or drop very low, then I would switch to a Medic. But I normally wait until after this fight before I do my Paragons. So yeah, that's my setup for that one. I got two diversities there, one for Lightning being the medic, and then one for Hope being the medic, because like I was stating in earlier videos about switching back and forth, when you pretty much use all of your ATB and then you switch to another form, the ATB will either be close to full or if not full. So that's why having like two diversities there would be very useful. Because by the time you're done healing, you can switch to the other diversity and then have the other character heal for you while you're attacking. And yeah, of course, Restless Assault, and then the aggression. And third one there is diversion, which is two medics, which obviously would be Lightning and Hope. And then a Commando, which would obviously be Fang. But yeah, just make your way on top of the ship here. Over to the right is a treasure spear. And this one was Mithril Bangle, which increases health. So not much to this section here, just make your way over to this area here and then out here, and then there's a bunch of enemies out here that you can fight. But like I said, this is a good grinding place if you need it to, but if you guys have played Final Fantasy X, and I'm sure a lot of you have, when you get up here, the background noise, it makes it very hard to even want to grind in this section. Kind of like in 10, where you're at Riku's base home and you get that annoying background that you always have to deal with. So yeah, it's kind of the same way here. That's why I really don't like grinding here. Or what I'll do is I'll plug in my headphones and then I'll do something on my phone, like watch a YouTube video on my phone or listen to music while grinding. I'm actually doing that right now with because I'm going to be doing some XIII Stones, which I'll go over later on why I really didn't do a lot of them. But yeah, I'm going to be doing XIII Stone missions, so I'm doing a lot of grinding right now to get myself to the point to where I can do the XIII Stones. So I'd just be watching a YouTube video and then keep my headphones on. And I'm saying that because I looked in here I thought there was volume control. There is no volume control in this game. They did the same thing to Kingdom Hearts. It wasn't until Kingdom Hearts 3 they decided to add in a volume control. Go figure. But yeah, just not too much to these areas, fight these enemies, and should be able to get through. Just make sure to stay healed as much as possible, no matter what you're doing, because these enemies do take up a lot of health. And there is an enemy coming up here. I think it's one of those Odeons or whatever he's called. This guy is a lot stronger than what he was before, for sure. Oh, this treasure spear right here. This was a weapon for lightning, but instead it was the thing to upgrade weapons to a different tier. This guy right here, we don't fight him, but these other guys coming up, I did fight. And if you can either use like the invisibility shroud on them or try to get around them, because they are very, very tough to deal with. And they're based on speed, like I mentioned before. I died to that fight, so I had to go around and try to get around him like that. But yeah, like I said before, those guys are based on speed, and they do a lot of damage. And with 3 of them chasing you, they pretty much killed me over and over and over again. So with these guys, I just stuck to the left, and I avoided a lot of them. Or if you got a big enough gap to get in between them and then go around them, you can do that. But yeah, just if you could avoid them, then do it. They're not worth it. They really aren't. Or if you do get into a fight and you can't get around them, then I would use Odin, which I did in this fight coming up here soon. So we're now back at Saz and Vanille. And then I got no Paragon set up to that. But this is the second to last area with Saz and Vanille before they'll run into the rest of the group. So you gotta fight this guy here if you want the treasure spear in this room over here. Which there's a couple of other enemies in here that you have to fight first. But yeah, you can't activate that door until you fight that enemy. Witch's bracelet, and that's an accessory, but I actually forgot what it does, but I did wind up selling that.
This thing's gonna keep us out.
And then we get some stuff to do upgrading components. Now here I took off Saz's equipment because I needed it, like I was explaining with the enemies from earlier. I needed it for Lightning and Fang and Hope. So I took that off Saz because he's got more strength on him. And I believe I put it on Lightning to try to see if that would help. I do put more accessories on Saz later. Yeah, I was trying to build Lightning up as much strength as possible to try to see if she could do more damage to these guys. And it really didn't work out too well. Which I probably could have upgraded the accessories, but I wanted to wait until later, until I had more stuff. So here we got Hanga, which is pretty good. That's for Saboteur. Strike, which that's for Ravager, and then Blizzara, which that's for Ravager as well. Hope's got his renewal. Scorched, I believe that was for Commando. And Fang's got Spark Strike, which that was for Ravager. Yeah, these are the guys that I'm talking about. And there's 3 of them right there that you would have to fight, and I did. But I wound up using Odin to help me out. So basically, it's just the same strat. You know, you want to stick with aggression at first, and then Restless Assault to get him into a stagger, and then aggression, and then switch to a healer when you need it. Diversity if you don't need much health, or diversion if you need enough health, a lot of health. And that's for upgrading weapons to a different tier actually. Untain, I believe it's called. There was another treasure spear here, as you can see way up there. I don't know if you guys could have seen that, but I just saw it too. I did not see it when I was playing. So I did not wind up grabbing that one. I didn't even realize that was over there. So after grabbing these treasure spears here, you can come up over here. Now, yeah, I was about to say, I thought I went right. And we can go around here. I'm not sure if I fought these. Yeah, I did fight those guys again, but actually what I did was did a retry and then try to zigzag around them like that. But we can make our way over to here to our next cutscene, and this is the last area with Saz and Vanille. It's not too difficult to really deal with, although there are enemies up here, and I put some silver mangles on Saz to try to keep his health up. I mean, these guys, they can be difficult, but more if you not these lands right here, but more coming up those I forgot what their name are. Starts with a T, but they're pretty difficult. The first one you gotta fight is not too bad. You just stick with the slash and burn, and then double cast to get him into a stagger, and then slash and burn again. Except this guy, and the reason why I didn't say use like a Saboteur on him, on Tane or whatever it's called, and the Transformer, is because this guy you can try to put some debuffs on him before he's staggered, but a lot of them don't work, so that's why I didn't do it. But once he is staggered, then you can start doing debuffs on him. You got Fire with Vanille, Biofrost, which that's one of Synergist moves, and then Magician's or Charmer's Mark for Vanille. And then of course obviously try to keep yourself healed with this guy too. Yeah, you can try to, I did try to throw some debuffs at him at first because sometimes it does work, but a lot of them will not kick in until he can stagger. And then plus, I was doing the whole Saboteur just to try to keep the gauge from moving slower, the stagger gauge from moving a lot slower. I probably could have used some of Saz's Synergist to at least get some buffs with them, but I just figured it wasn't really that worth it. Yeah, I believe that was Fog I cast on him. So it does help out a little bit. Now with this fight here, what I was trying to say with the Eidolons, you can summon an Eidolon to help you out with this. But I would wait until the next fight, because in the next fight we're gonna have two enemies to deal with. It's gonna be Terror, and then another enemy, which I forgot his name, but he casts Aroga, and Aroga does a lot of damage on them. So that's why I would at least hold off on the Eidolon until that fight. I didn't use the Eidolon in that fight because I really didn't need it. But that's just in case you're in a, if you're desperate and you really need it. And that is if you didn't use like Odin in the previous fights that I was talking about. But if you did use Odin, then I would fight a couple more enemies just to get the TP up to level 3, and you'll be able to summon Saz's Eidolon. Yeah, I switched to Vanille Saboteur here because like I said, it keeps the stagger gauge from moving. It keeps the stagger gauge moving slow, and then on top of that, Vanille can try to debuff the enemy over there on the left. But that's the enemy, yeah, the soldier. That's the one that uses a Roga. And what it does, it'll fling the characters up in the air, and then of course it does a lot of damage to them as well. So when you get flown up in the air, like right here, it kind of keeps you from doing your attacks and all that. But it's kind of like this, almost kind of like the same strat from the previous fight. Just make sure to keep yourself healed. And it also, yeah, if you do have synergist for Sav, I probably would try to do something with that and try to give yourself a few buffs. I really didn't need it. But yeah, we were able to take him out, so forget him and his Aroga.
Follow the old man's lead.
A Phantom, I hate the Phantom Burst. That's another move that flings the character up into the air like that. And kind of keeps him from attacking. There's a lot of enemies in this game that'll do that, and especially later on.
We got this, Vanille.
I still haven't really found a way around that either. Like, I'll explain it once we get to towards the end of the game. But yeah, you just keep attacking, you slash burn, try to get the stagger gauge up. And then I should switch double cast here too. Well, War and Peace because Vanille is getting low in health. But yeah, if Vanille wasn't really low on health, I probably would have switched to double casting just to put him into a stagger. But I was switching to more to slash and burn because it was helping out a little bit to at least get the gauge up. But I more should switch to double casting just to get it up a lot faster.
Watch and learn, kid.
Even though this guy wasn't like too difficult to really deal with, it did take forever to beat him. And by the gauge of the stagger and his health, I was not able to defeat him before the stagger ran out, so I had to redo it again. Yeah, see, well, I thought I was going to switch to double casting. Divide and conquer, yeah. There we go. I knew I eventually did switch to that. But I think at that point, I was trying to keep the stagger gauge going as slow as possible. Like I said, that is always the best way to do that. Because if you do use, say for instance, much later on in the game and you got Try Disaster, and you immediately go into a Try Disaster and able to get the gauge up, the stagger gauge up very quickly, it goes down very quickly as well. That's why, you know, slash and burn and aggression and all that is best to start off with and then switch to Try Disaster. But now we're back as Lightning, Hope, and Fang. And this is the last section for them. I had to fight these enemies here to get this treasure spear. Now, like I just said, it's the same way with these enemies. You want to stick with aggression, and then go to Try Disaster, and then back to aggression. But if the character's health gets low, make sure to keep the characters healed and everything. If you do have any like buffs for like Hope, I would probably use those here if you're a little weak. And then Saboteur, I would stick with Lightning as a commando, Hope as the synergist, and then Fang as a Saboteur as for your first roll when getting into a fight, and then switch to like aggression or try disaster, or not try disaster, restless assault, and then aggression. And of course keep like diversity, but that, you know, that's only if you need it. If you have to take anything out, I would probably take out one of the diversities and just do the commando, synergist, and saboteur. Hopefully, if you're lucky too, Hope will have protect. Or maybe haste. But yeah, you can just go around those enemies like that, not really have to worry about them. And then up here, you don't have to fight these enemies if you don't want to. And I did fight these guys. But if you come over here, which I will turn around here in a minute, there's an area over there to the left that we can actually go down. There's a treasure spear down there, and then you'll be able to avoid a lot of the enemies. We got bravery with an impaled dove with lightning, and then we got our own Aroga with Pope. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Going behind here, and you'll be able to go down this like sloop right here. The only problem is you gotta wait for it to come up and then go down, or go down and then come up. You know, whatever the case is. So that's why I did speed this up a little bit. But yeah, if you come all the way around here, there's a treasure spear down here at the end. And this one was... Riptide Ring. That was an item that was dropped from an enemy that we fought earlier with Saz and Vanille over in those wetland areas. Those two enemies that we fought, I can't remember their names. I cannot remember a lot of these enemies' names. But yeah, it was those two guys that we fought over there, where you had to change the weather and everything. And then this one was... I'm not exactly sure what it does. I need to read up on that one. That one to change the tier weapon. I am very bad with names in this game. Very bad. I'm not afraid to admit that. So these enemies I did fight here. Just to see what they were dropping and or get their drops, and then gain some CP. Now up here I didn't use any shrouds because this is a two-part fight. This is another one of those two-part fights, so there's really no point in using shrouds. I mean, you can if you really want to, but just note that by the time you get to the second fight and you still have the shrouds, they'll be gone anyways. But it's just same routine here. You know, you stick with aggression at first. Then you go into like the restless assault. And then once in stagger, you go back into aggression. And then of course, try to keep yourself healed. And I was more using Rune on him. I think that does a little bit more damage than attack does. Because obviously you can't launch with this guy here. So there's really... I mean, you can stick with attacks. I mean, it should still be alright. But I think Rune was a lot better to use here anyways. So that's why I was doing the whole repeat thing. Arctic Amulet. Which I think that was for some kind of protection. It's an accessory that does some kind of protection. Same thing here, except this time he's going to be a little bit more aggressive. So I believe I did have to switch to a medic a lot of times. I had to switch the version a lot too, because he was doing a lot of damage. So like I said, he gets a bit more aggressive here.
Deal with this. New strategy. Eat this.
But yeah, pretty much when only one character needs a good amount of health, like Hope here, I just try to stick with diversity. And then it also depends on how well the characters are healing as well. Like Hope and Lightning together can keep the party pretty much healed. But one alone, if it's one character, they should be alright. But if it gets any worse than that, then yeah, that's where both of them combined pretty much do pretty good healing.
New strategy. Eat this.
So yeah, probably if you're as strong as I am in this fight, you're pretty much going to be sticking with diversity a lot. And diversion pretty much heal everybody. Oh, and yeah, make sure to have Phoenix down too.
New strategy.
I'm sure, chances are you may not have raids. If you do, you're lucky. But chances are you may not have raids, so I would definitely carry some Phoenix down for me.
Thanks. Eat this.
Luckily, I did not need any in this fight. That's why I forgot to mention it, because I didn't really need to use the Phoenix Downs except for a few situations. And I think in future videos I do use them. But I think somewhere I did get raised for somebody. Yeah, I did get raised for somebody, but I think it was for I don't know who got it first.
Thanks. New strategy.
But yeah, like I was saying earlier with the Commando, Synergist,
You asked for it.
and Saboteur. You probably could have used that in this fight as well too if you needed to.
Deal with this.
I really didn't need to, so because we were doing okay. I was doing okay in this fight. I probably could have used something. I'm not sure. Actually, kind of forgot what Synergist moves I had, so that's why I didn't really use it that much. But I will be using them here soon. You see, yep, okay, yep, Hope did die. And I did have Phoenix down, so good, good. Yeah, I had forgotten if I died or not. Then I came to realize, like, yeah, you know, this is Hope we are talking about, because in this run, Hope was dying an awful lot. Like, pretty much a good amount of times. So that's why I did decide to get some Phoenix Downs. He did die in the previous fight and we had to get Phoenix Downs. In a fight like a few videos ago.
Keep a cool head.
Yeah, I think it was that 20-minute hell fight. Which, luckily, I did not have to do another one of those fights. It was not a 20-minute hell fight. There were some struggle fights for sure, but not... I did want to beat in the rando and do have all the videos set. So I just need to do commentary on them, and then I'll be able to upload them. But yeah, I did complete the randomizer.
New strategy.
That's why it was taking me so long to upload a lot of these videos. That, and I was working on the Seep Stone, setting up for the Seep Stone, which I'll go over later on. Not much here. Not much left. Got him there. Finally got him. Yep, so all I had to do was just finish him off. 3-star. I don't know what it is. Oh, Survivor's Catalog. If you got that, put that on, because the anytime an enemy drops a drop, it could increase the odds of that drop. So if you have the slot room, then put that on. But as for that boss fight, I don't know what the recommendations are for getting 5 stars in a lot of these boss fights. So as I was saying before I do my outro, because I didn't realize the video was going to end there, but for a lot of these boss fights, I don't know why, I don't know really what the recommendations are for 5-starring them, but it's a bit strange with a lot of these fights. But anyways, that is this part for Final Fantasy XIII Randomizer. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next episode.